Welcome back, everybody. Time for some more End of a New Beginning, playing as the German Empire. It's March of 1875, and we are just continuing to work on building up our navy with the idea of eventually invading Britain herself, and that may happen yet in this episode. We'll see if we can build up enough naval forces to be able to effect that kind of an invasion. All right, well, we've got ourselves another major naval clash happening here. And once again, it's a disaster for the British, as we've already taken out, it looks like, 2 early corvette hulls, as well as 17 early gunboats. Just another complete disaster for the British. Let's take a look and see where that puts us in terms of the size of their navy. 176 ships. So we're slowly but surely knocking it down. And the more we destroy of their ships, the easier it becomes to enjoy naval supremacy in these 2 regions where we'll need that to exist. Let's see, unrated naval battle results, so we can actually look at the results of this battle. And there you have it. Oh, that's interesting. It's only showing, maybe those were ones that actually left. I guess I didn't exactly read that correctly. That's all right. 1 sunk ship is just as good as long as we're not losing any. All right, we're going to continue to build up our naval dockyards. This is going to allow us to mass produce ships quite a bit faster than we currently are. I'm pretty excited to get these early protected cruisers into service, and we're about to get our first ones. In fact, we're just a day away, and there we go. And so now we can actually start building the next level of those. The early protected cruiser Mark 1, which I don't think is what we're currently building. So we'll go ahead and queue up the first of those, and a second one won't be far behind it, so we'll go ahead and do that as well. And who knows, by the time those are done, we may have researched something even better. All right, so as our fleet goes ahead and repairs in Hamburg, we are 5 days away from war in sight, which looks like it's likely to lead to another war in France. It says the powers of the United Kingdom and the Russian Empire will probably intervene if we go to war. Well, we're already at war with the UK, so that doesn't really change things, although I certainly don't want to add Russia to that mix. That said, I feel like, okay. So I guess we get World War I about 40 years early. We've declared war on France. We've already got the UK in there. We've got to rush troops to the Russian border, which is actually pretty small at the moment. So let's go ahead and, okay, these guys have to continue to guard that border, but these 22 divisions are now going to have to guard the Russian border. We do have the Austro-Hungarians on our side, which is good news. I don't think we need to guard the border with Poland as well. There we go. So let's go ahead and get these guys all up there. Really don't know that I want to push an offensive war, but if the opportunity's there, we may as well go for it. It seems like pretty quickly we could get enough divisions into place to do that. So this is something else, man. We are, oh, Finland has joined in. Mexico wants to join the wars. Sure, why not? Not that Mexico's doing anything to help us. Non-aggression. Yes, Austria, please jump in and help out. That opens up a much greater front for the Russians to have to deal with. But yeah, this is basically World War I in 1875. So looking at the ledger, you can see here that I am now, the number 2 and number 5 nations are now at war with 1, 3, and 7. So pretty interesting. Manpower wise, obviously that gives a big boost, adding Russia to the mix, but I'm not too incredibly concerned about that. I think we've already called everybody, but let's go ahead and make sure we call everybody to this grand war that we're now involved in, even though it does show as kind of separate wars depending on how you look at it. Okay. Let's push across, shall we? Start taking some Russian territory. We'll see what the Austro-Hungarians do. It looks like they're pushing right here. What is this? Are we, in fact, fighting Poland as well? Because it looks like they have a plan to attack Poland. I forgot Austria's got an absolutely massive army themselves. They've got the largest army in terms of divisions in the world right now. So the UK's only got 23 divisions. We've got 87. France has 50. Austria's got 118. We also have added... I don't think we have Italy in this, do we? No, but it'd be really nice to have Italy. Maybe that'll happen at some point. All right, we do have to look at this war now, this front. I guess we got to pull those divisions off the Austrian border. We definitely don't need that. All right, time for a push toward Paris. We'll see what happens there. And then we got to get all these divisions over here and put them in somewhere. Right now, I'm just going to hold them in reserve until I see where I need them, I guess. So yes, in answer to the question, Poland is actually on the other side of this. So that actually gives me an idea of what to do with my other army. Even though it looks like the Austro-Hungarians are going to deal with that. And actually, I guess I should stop saying it is technically Austria-Hungary as we know it, but it is still the Austrian Empire this time. So I can just call them the Austrians. All right, so let's go ahead, and I think the 22 divisions we have online against France is probably enough for now. We throw these guys over here to take Poland real quick, and suddenly we have a much bigger front against Russia, so that's good. Oh yeah, here we come. We're just going to rush that border and really quickly take Warsaw. We had some early success with France. But it has slowed down quite a bit. I'm going to try to get in behind them if I can, cut off some of those divisions, but I'm going to need more than 22 divisions to do that. So at some point, we'll have to do some shifting of those units. So I guess that national focus, the three emperors, was all for naught, as we certainly are not on good terms with the Russian Empire now. We're not going to be able to do the Triple Alliance until Italy actually holds Rome. So that's kind of frustrating, but let's go ahead and work on policies with the rest of the world. See who else we might win over to our side. Once I push this Russian front out to here, I'm going to remove some of my divisions that I have there and put them on the front with France, because I think if I can quickly almost pull like a Schlieffen plan where we can take out France, then it makes it a lot easier to deal with Russia long term. We've got 3 Russian divisions encircled up here. I'm going to go ahead and take care of them. Once we do that, those are a bunch more divisions we can rush over to the front. So you can see we've had really good success. We're actually moving toward Minsk. If we can just encircle and take out Warsaw, shorten this line to here, I'll go ahead and free up some of my divisions to head over to France so we can finish off France, take Paris, and then hopefully turn our attention full time to the Russians. But it's going so far, so good. 188,000 total losses, and that includes the previous losses we had already suffered in the war overall with the UK. But you can see here, most of my casualties have been caused by the Spanish so far, but the Russians have caused 47,000 of them. On the other hand, we have inflicted 146,000 casualties on the Russians, 171,000 on the United Kingdom, who have only inflicted 815 on us. Spain, 54,000. So we're definitely dealing out. France, 66. Dealing out far more than we're taking. All right. Looks like Poland has capitulated. So we're going to grab some weapons and supplies there. However, I'm trying to cut off all of these Russian divisions that are in there. I'm just going to take pretty much every unit that I have and bring them over to focus on attacking this spot right here. If we can take this territory, Brest-Litovsk actually, that's going to allow us to cut off all of these Russian divisions that are stuck there. And it looks like we just did it. Beautiful. That's going to make things a lot more interesting. Well, we had, and then they came back and took it back again. But there you can see the situation. Looks like a breakout now happening in France, even without our additional divisions that we'd like to get over there. Here's the situation now. 300,000 losses on our side, but almost 1 million already on theirs. This is going really, really well, and it wasn't a war I even asked for, but we'll certainly take how well it's going. Kingdom of Portugal, oh, that's just a World's Fair. We get like 3 of those a year. We've now got several places we've encircled the enemy, so a bunch of divisions that are about to be destroyed on the Russian side. As soon as these pockets are cleaned up, we're going to take this army of 23 divisions. We're going to ship them west to deal with France, and I think that should be enough to push France out of this war. I haven't even been pushing my divisions forward. I think this is mostly the Austrians at this point that are, they're not going to stop till they get to Moscow, I don't think. All right, here we go. One pocket completely collapsed. The other one nearly so. Over 1 million casualties now for the Russians. Well, 500,000 for the Russians. For their Russians and their allies, over 1 million casualties. So as soon as we take, there we go. We're going to go ahead now. We'll keep this army of 29 divisions focused on the Russian front. And we'll give them some new orders to push this offensive line. It is October, so this is where we get into, you know what they say. I'm not even going to have to say it. Land war in Asia. Don't attack Russia in the winter, that kind of stuff. We'll just go ahead and draw that line for now. But now we're going to push west. All of these units are going to come back this way, and they're going to help us end the war in France. Okay, so we push forward now in France. We are headed toward Paris. The Russians only have 30 divisions left in the field, something like that. According to the ledger here, you can see the UK's got 23, France has 41, Russia 33, and those 3 combined don't even stand up to Austria alone, let alone when you add the German 89 divisions to it. So that doesn't necessarily equate to manpower. That's just the number of divisions that are in the field. We've researched early power station. Let's go ahead and see what we're working on right now. Anti-submarine tactics and our naval doctrine. We're a little ahead on alternators. We can work on the telephone. We've already got the phonograph that we're working on. Balloon designs. So a lot of very innovative things being worked on at the moment. Okay, it's December 1875. Things have slowed in the east in Russia, as expected in wintertime, but we are knocking on the door of Paris now. And you can see most of his divisions just are crumbling. I'm looking at, you can just see these little bars here that represent their organization, their strength, and they're very, very low, whereas most of ours are staying pretty well up to strength. A little bit of issues here and there, mostly supply issues that we have to deal with, and I think if we wanted to, we could probably push this a little bit by changing our battle plan and just being a little more aggressive with them, which we haven't really been so far. This will cause some of those units that aren't moving too much because of supply to start moving a little faster. All right, we've established relations with Mexico. There's not a whole lot else we can do. Oh, we can do the German-Persian treaty. So let's go ahead and do that. So establish some relations in the Middle East. Come on, guys. Let's push into Paris. He's going to hold on to Paris as hard as he can. It might take a little bit of time. We may have to take some of these other territories first. Let's go ahead and take a look at things where they stand now. 547,000 losses overall, about 1/3 for me. Considering, not too bad. Russians have lost almost 800,000, France 300,000. The UK hasn't lost too many more. It seems like for the most part they're keeping their divisions out of this conflict. We're looking here at who these divisions are. Is that India? Yeah, the British India has got a lot of divisions in the field, but Britain herself does not. This is mainly France and India that we're fighting. Let's see who we've got over here in Russia that we're fighting against. It's almost all Russians. Yeah, I don't see anybody but Russia right now. All right, we've separated some more units, and so we're going to be able to take, this is Ukraine over here, be able to take out Ukraine and isolate and destroy those divisions as well. That's going to further weaken an already very weak Russian Empire. France, just movement all the way along the line in a positive direction as we enter into 1876. Paris hasn't fallen, but it will very soon. We're coming in from another side to deal with that. Come on, boys, let's take Paris. Something the Germans tried desperately to do and nearly did in the early months of World War I, just couldn't quite get there. So we'll do it for them this time. Yeah, the French resistance is just absolutely crumbling all along the front at this point. Let's go ahead and push it all the way in. We'll get Paris once and for all here. There we go. She's ours. I think. I figured we'd get some kind of a pop-up for taking Paris, but it hasn't happened yet. Is that the end of the war? The game just seemed like it was about to freeze up. I thought we were going to get something. While we're talking about taking major cities and capitals, we're about to take St. Petersburg as well. So we will have taken the French and Russian capitals both in January of 1876. That's pretty impressive for these combined Austrian and German forces. And it just shows you what a threat these German nations were to the rest of Europe at this time, as powerful as they were. Come on, I want to see them move. It looks like just a Finnish division defending St. Petersburg at this point. Russia can't even defend her own capital. Come on, boys. Let's take it. Happening kind of slowly. You can see France is almost done. 2 million losses now. That's because we isolated a bunch more divisions and took them there. St. Petersburg has fallen. See now in the ledger, Russia is not even a great power in the world anymore. And the reason why is obviously they've lost a lot of their territory. They lost a lot of their population. They now rank 10th as a secondary power. Only 83 million people under their control. Only 11 divisions in the field, 21 factories. You can see that the number of people that are currently within the borders of mine as they exist, which obviously we're not going to keep all this, nearly 128 million people now. Okay, France is about to fall. She's at 11% now until capitulation. We've actually taken almost the entire country. Where are we at now? Military assistance in China. We can't do that. We still can't do delegation in Rome. Let's look at domestic policy. Actually, you know what? We're not ready for colonization yet. We've got to do some research first before we can do that. We'll work on our industrial research for now, I guess. Just need a little bit more France's territory to fall. I don't know why I was looking at that 11% and thinking that was what was left. That was actually their war participation. The Treaty of Brest. Time to do what we want to do with France. And I think, at least for now, I want some of their territory. Especially the territory that's close to the UK. I definitely want Paris. And the regions around Paris. And then let's look and see what kind of production there is. Because we want some of that as well. I don't necessarily feel like I have to have all of their production. I would like to have a Mediterranean coastline. I don't really want Corsica. I think that's probably pretty good. And then we'll take Burgundy. We'll leave the rest for now. So that's ours. Oh, why didn't I take any of this? I've got to keep my territory connected. We'll end that turn. We could take really all of France if we want to. I don't really want to. But I don't want to have to guard all of it either. So how about... we satellite all of their colonies. And then a supervised state, a collaborationist government, so it'd be similar to Vichy France. So let's go ahead and do that. What's left? These guys down here. I don't really want them. Seems like I may not have a choice, though. Maybe we'll just let France exist in those two states there, Aquitaine and the Pyrenees. The war continues, though, in the east. So there's the Treaty of Brest. Looks like British India is starting to very quickly gobble up all of that territory, so we're going to have to go back in and fight them to deal with all of that. But now we've got a much closer situation. How did they keep Calais? How did I miss that? I should have definitely taken Calais. But we've got a situation here where now we should only have just the English Channel to establish supremacy over to be able to invade the UK. Now, with over 1 million casualties, the Russian Empire is falling toward collapse herself. 79% toward capitulation, so we just need to control enough victory points to get them under 29%. We're also moving into Finland and Spain now, because now that France is on our side, that means we've got a border and an avenue to attack Spain. We're just cleaning up some of the places where there were divisions that were occupying what is now an allied France. The nice thing about this is that we now get France as an ally with her 155 ships in her fleet. So that was actually kind of an unintended consequence of keeping France intact somewhat, was that it allowed us to get that fleet on our side. You can see the vast region that I now control. That's obviously not going to stay that way with the 161 million people that are currently under our control. But I'm wondering if taking Moscow is going to be enough to finish off this war and drive the Russians to the peace table. We're getting super close, and I feel like that would be the kind of capture that would be enough to end this thing. We're still trying to finish up these pockets of resistance, mainly among the Indian army in pockets of France. Once we can clean all of that up, we can put a solid front line down on the Spanish. But I feel like taking Moscow might be all we're waiting on. Okay, Moscow is ours. It's June 1876. We're actually coming up on the week that General George Armstrong Custer was wiped out by Native Americans out west, but that's not what's happening on this timeline, I would imagine. Speaking of, let's take a look at the United States and the Confederate States. Not a lot happening over there right now. The Regency of Mexico. Who's actually running that country? Almonte. All right. We must need to take a little bit more Russian territory to be able to secure their capitulation. We're also moving in on Finland. We've taken Helsinki. All right, there we go. This is Poland, Finland, and the Russian Empire. Poland we're going to take. Finland I really couldn't care less about, so I'm pretty content with puppeting them. Russia, on the other hand, let's break her up, shall we? There's a lot of resources I'd probably like to have here, but I'm doing pretty good resource-wise. Where's the oil? Down here. I'd probably like to have that oil. Yeah, especially right there. Let's gobble up some of those resources because we don't have those things already. I'm looking to see what else there might be that I don't naturally produce on my own. I don't want to take all of Russia, but I definitely would like to have some of Russia. But we're going to liberate Lithuania, Latvia, the United Baltic Duchy, Estonia. Beyond that, I think that's it for now. Let's see where we're at now. So we've taken, okay, let's grab this territory here just because it makes sense to do so. More oil there. I'm just thinking long term here, and I like the idea of oil being something that I can control on my own. So let's just kind of take this whole region. I guess this is probably Armenia, huh? That's probably pretty good there. Crimea wouldn't be bad to have. We should probably connect all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and just say we'll take all of this territory. But beyond that, probably not too crazy about the idea of controlling a bunch of this territory. There's more oil there. We'll take Kiev. Seems pretty good. Let's grab that right there. I think beyond that, I'll kind of let the Russians do their own thing. We'll puppet the rest of Russia. What's left? All that stuff out west. Nah, not too concerned about all that. Somebody's going to have to take it, though, huh? There's no way to puppet the rest. I don't want all of that. That's just a lot of territory that I have to control that I really don't want to. So we'll just say done. And let's see what the new world order looks like after all of that. This is going to be interesting. Poor Austria, she gets next to nothing, even though she sacrificed quite a bit there. So now you can see my German Empire extends all the way from eastern France, historic Germany, Poland, Ukraine, Belarus, I guess, down here. So pretty nice little territory we've got. Definitely a nice amount of production that we have now. We've got a new decision that's available to us, but I don't know what it is. So let's see. Oh, reopen the machine parts factory now that we have the resources to do so. All right, I think that's probably a good place to wrap up. The war still goes on against the UK, British India, Spain, and all of the other folks associated with the UK, but really it's just a solid situation for me. We've just got to develop somehow the ability to cross the channel, and I don't seem to be able to do that, even though I have an overwhelming supremacy of naval power there. We've got 76 ships in the region between me and France. I don't know why. I guess it's the intel, and I don't know how we increase our naval intel. So we'll have to figure that out. But I'm going to wrap it up right there. Let me know your thoughts about all that. Use the comment section below. And patrons, you can continue to give me your feedback through the recent post over on Patreon, just asking for your thoughts about the direction of our German Empire. I really wasn't planning on that kind of expansion. I wasn't planning on going to war with Russia, but war was visited upon us, and so we rose to the challenge. Let me know your thoughts. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.